Hello creators, I am Thomas and I am an editor and a YouTube channel manager. And last year the content I managed generated over 18 million views. To do this, I built a system that allowed my clients to consistently upload videos that people are actually interested in watching, build a top 1% editing system that any editor can use to improve content, and have a channel that's earning over 10K a month from business avenues such as AdSense, sponsorship, and offers. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to build that system in 30 days, starting with days 1 to 7. Now, just before starting, I have compiled a massive list of valuable resources for you guys. That's for free if you click the link in the description. To begin, you see the first big mistake people make when it comes to YouTube is looking at very large channels, big creators with millions of views, trying to replicate what they're doing and then expecting the same growth and results. This is not how to do YouTube. That is creator copy tube. I need to work on my puns. So to actually understand what the YouTube meta is anywhere and anytime, you need to do one of two things. First up, you create a new YouTube account for the niche that you're interested in editing or making content for, and subscribe to loads of different channels within that niche. It doesn't matter too much if the channels you're clicking on are necessarily big or small, just make sure they're very much relevant to the niche that you're researching. And then you want to watch content that ideally your target audience is interested in and actually watching. What this will do will allow you to check your homepage daily and grab outlier videos to add to your research, because YouTube will only be suggesting the kind of content that's killing it in your niche. So for this account, I've only clicked on exercise channels, so you can see here all of my content is fitness related. Another bonus way to get great data out of this account is to go on what I call a clicking train, where you click on a relevant video like here and then click on a chain of more relevant videos in the suggested tab. What this does is simply make you super aware of the content YouTube is promoting to your potential audience and what they're more likely to click on. Now, the whole point of this exercise is obviously to collect titles and thumbnails that are performing well, but I'm sure you've all heard of specifically collecting outliers, which are videos that have overperformed in terms of views for a channel. There's a big problem with outliers though, and that is that there's kind of like two types. There are outliers that you should be looking at, and there are outliers that you shouldn't be looking at. Not every outlier is equal. If you're a larger channel, you can pretty much get away with looking at most outliers, then simply look at your audience and question whether creating a similar kind of video will work for them specifically, and then if it's all green, then you're good. As for the newer creators or the smaller channels out there, you want to be looking at outliers from smaller channels, not from the bigger guys. The reason why is an outlier from someone, let's just say like Ali Abdaal, who has over like how many million subscribers now, isn't because it's a crazy great idea that will work for everyone in like the productivity or education niche. It's because he's built a loyal following over the years that will actually boost the reach of some of those ideas, and it might just be a really good idea related to his massive audience. So it's a bit of an outlier, but within the context of his audience, and probably not within the context of yours. And those ideas just don't work for small channels. So in conclusion, just don't look at big channels that have millions of loyal followers. Now, the second way is much more time efficient, and it works really, really well for any channel. And that's by using outlier tools such as oneof10.com or ViewStats. Let me tell you now, every single established large creator with their team or by themselves are using some form of outlier tool, buying consultation. There's a whole space where these creators pay thousands a month to get the best ideas for their YouTube channel, and it's all coming from these tools. So if you're not using one, you are simply at a disadvantage. It's as simple as that. Personally, I use One-of-10, so I'll demonstrate this here, but these tools simply give you a massive database of outliers that you can research for video ideas or click on and go in and study when it comes to editing, content, and so on. One of the reasons this is so effective is because the outliers that you research won't be restricted to one niche like the YouTube account we created earlier. So this comes in handy when you want to do cross niche. Wow, that is difficult to say. Cross niche ideation, which is taking an idea from a different niche and sticking it into your own. So to give the best example, one outlier I found last year was this video's Why Koreans Dress Better. And me and my client remixed it, and we did an anime spin and got 700k views for his channel. That's just from a cheeky twist. Data is everything, people. Data is everything. Another core reason why these outlier tools are so important, especially when you are starting out, especially when you are small, is because of filters. You can literally filter down like to smaller channels to see what videos are popping off. For small creators, it saves hours on research and will allow you to just come up with ideas and thumbnails based on your own channel size. You can just scale that right down or up if you're a top dog. So yeah, basically spend a good week becoming obsessed over outliers, start spotting patterns across the platform, get a real good idea of like what people are actually watching, and make sure that you're studying more recent content from the past year or so, because you don't want to be working with outdated ideas. So now you're at this point where you're collecting all of these outliers. You've got videos from big channels, maybe from small channels, inside your niche and outside your niche. What do you do with them all? And how do they help you become part of this top 1%? Well, that's where days 8 to 15 come in. This is not the stage where I tell you to watch all of the outliers you've collected and just copy what works, because there are lots of channels out there that are copying what works, but it's not working for them. You see, here's the problem. If channel A has created a viewing experience, generated millions of views, and built an audience that loves them for that specific experience, why would they choose to watch channel B, that is a smaller, unknown channel attempting to create the same experience? Now, to fix this problem, so you don't end up becoming a Temu version of Alex Hormozi that gets no views, you'll want to do this. When taking from successful content on the platform, you can of course take inspiration, whether that be their editing style, their studio setup, like my juicy setup right here. Hell, even their presentation style. But, I like buts. When you find something you gotta steal, you've gotta put it through a filter first. What this means is when you're taking something from a channel, copying, let's just say, an editing asset or something like that, you want to pass it through a filter that is essentially the customization filter for your channel, and you want to change it in some way that makes it unique to your own channel. Whether that be stylizing it more in line with your brand, whether that be like a retro look, a futuristic look, a minimalist look, handcrafted, or something else. I really like, I think handcrafted is going to become a lot more popular with the AI boom. Shout out to Pinterest browsing if you're looking for a branded feel to your channel. Just make sure to turn off the AI thing in settings, because there's so much AI slop on that platform now. What this does is ensures that the bricks that you're building your channel with are the right ones, but the final model is going to look something different and new compared to the previous bricks that have built previous channels. I hope you're getting this analogy. But talking about stealing is pointless if you don't have the right lockpicks and you don't know how to steal, right? How many times have you seen something really cool like a transition or a text animation and thought, I want to use that, but then 10 minutes later you're scrolling on Instagram and you forgot that it ever existed? What you need to do is build a bank. And no, I'm not talking about the kind of bank that robs people of money. I'm talking a GIF bank. GIF. GIF. I don't know, I think there's a raging debate on how that's pronounced. Just use some form of capturing software. I use CleanShot on Mac to record GIFs of things you want to create in your own videos. So when capturing stuff, you want to make sure that you cover what you're planning to present in your videos. This could be like text information, a certain stylized way of presenting B-roll, like in a cool frame or something, transitions, animations for different elements, and so on. If you want to see an example of one of my kind of video editing banks, once again, link in the description, it's all in that. So this bank is what you're going to be referring to for the final section of this video, which is days 16 to 30. The final 2 weeks are here, and it's finally time to put together the practical skills that you need to bloody edit a video. I've found that the fastest way to learn, believe it or not, is not watching hours and hours and hours of YouTube tutorials. That might put me out of the job. But let me tell you right now, those 8-hour videos that you see popping off everywhere, they're not the one, man. No shade to any of the creators that are doing it, but you want to actually go with project-based learning when it comes to editing, because like so much information that they give in those 8-hour videos, they're just not relevant. And let me ask you right now, if you're 20 minutes in, do you even remember what happened in the first 5 minutes? So never mind, like if that's 20 minutes, well, if you're an hour and a half in, you're telling me that you're gonna remember everything from that first hour and a half. And a lot of these guys, once again, no shade, they tell you how to do something, but they don't tell you why they're doing it a lot of the time. So you're not really understanding the core foundation of what's happening when it comes to the edit. So therefore you just forget everything and you're back to square one like the next day. Just don't waste your time and go with project-based learning. So what this means is you just open up your bank, your GIF portfolio bank, and you choose something and be like, okay, I'm gonna try and recreate this. This is my project. Those are all your projects. All those GIFs are all your projects. So at this point, you just lock in, you go from GIF to GIF, looking up tutorials on how to create animations, transitions, or build assets similar to those GIFs that you've collected. So what this does is it just makes the tutorials that you're watching very, very focused, and like you have an outcome. I'm gonna create this, I get this, instead of like sitting there being like, what is a composition in After Effects? Why has it crashed? Let me browse Reddit for another 45 minutes on this error code that oh my God, I hate it all. I think I'm gonna quit and use Blender. Just bear in mind that when you are going through your GIFs, maybe you save some like stupid high level stuff, whether that be like 3D animations in After Effects that have lighting and crazy camera movement. My advice at those points, before you build your kind of skills up, just make a simplified version of it. So let's say you've got some crazy animation of a train on a track. Just use a PNG image of a train and have it slide across the screen. That's where you start. You will build your skills later on. Get the foundation down first before you start like looking up more complicated stuff. Otherwise you'll burn out, trust me. So be as specific as possible, like when it comes to searching tutorials. Some of the terms that, I don't know, related to my own clients, they range from things like master camera movement on After Effects, animate text like Apple, create animated backgrounds or gradient color backgrounds, smooth animations Premiere Pro, this is a good one to learn. Animate characters in After Effects, cinematic background After Effects, smooth transitions, or make your edits look more expensive. I did a video on that. As I said, link in the description. I've compiled a ton of like list of videos and YouTube channels that I've found really helpful. Might save you hours of browsing and cutting through the slop that is out there when it comes to editing and learning stuff. Most tutorials could be 2 minutes, but instead they choose them to be 19 minutes long. But take this video here, for example, teaching this simple text animation on After Effects. What you want to do is straight away create a preset for that animation. So every time you're working on a video, you just drag and drop that onto the text that you're using. And speaking of drag and drop, copy and paste will also be a thing. You want to create a new project and throw in all of the unique assets you're like creating as you go along. You're going project by project. And this kind of timeline that you're building is essentially you're building that unique viewer experience. And then every time you edit, all you have to do is like copy and paste these kind of templates over, and it's saving hundreds of hours in the long run. I'm telling you, you don't want to be like animating all of this stuff every single time. You don't want to be finding new assets every single time. Just have like the base and just do a little bit different every single time. Once you have that template built from all of your research that you started in the first week, well, you've basically chosen all the videos that are in the kind of top 1% or top 1% of content that's up and coming. Then you've stolen from them. You've created then a unique viewing experience for your own channel, and then voila. I mean, you're kind of creating a top 1% experience there. But here's the thing, I could actually give you all of my top 1% editing blueprints and your channel would still fail. So you want to click here to discover the system that I use to make sure that good edits do not go to waste.